A show that has shocked millions. A show that made Apple TV super popular. A show that goes by the name of Ted Lasso. Welcome back to Castroid, and today we're talking about what makes Ted Lasso such a popular and interesting show. The show follows Ted and Willis, or more commonly known as Coach Beard, as they take on the problems of managing the struggling football club, AFC Richmond. This team features many unique characters, including the overconfident Jamie Tart and the captain, Roy Kent, played by the talented Phil Dunster and Brett Goldstein. Also on the strong cast include Hannah Waddington and Juno Temple, who play the owner of the club, Rebecca, and Jamie's girlfriend, Keely. This show has become wildly popular over the past 3 years, with its 4th season releasing next year. I personally hadn't started watching the show till recently, and I finished it super fast. I personally really enjoyed it, and clearly others did too, but why? Well, I believe there are 4 major reasons for this popularity. Number 1, the characters. The characters in Ted Lasso are wildly great choices that work really well, but when you take a look at it, it actually has a specific dynamic. Most of the character traits conflict with each other. Nate's shyness is the opposite of Jamie's cockiness. Ted's outgoing personality is very different compared to Roy. This builds a unique set of characters who can bounce off each other and work really nicely. We also get to see a side of energetic or outgoing characters like Ted, Danny, Keely, and Sam, and the root are more indifferent personalities such as Roy, Jamie, Isaac, and Coach Beard. We additionally see really amazing character arcs throughout the show. We see Ted slowly breaking down after the divorce, and how even a fun, outgoing person like himself has problems. Or how Jamie goes from the self-centered person he is to becoming a unit on the team who cares more about assists than goals. While Rebecca realizes how many people she's hurting through her revenge plot, and how Roy learns to set examples for his niece. Even Colin learns to be himself, and Nate about how greed can transform someone. Overall, this could be my favorite ensemble cast. I think the actors perfectly portrayed the characters, and it's unimaginable to think it could have ended any differently. Number 2, the message. Ted Lasso shares so many great messages with us that they really lean into. It tries to show the world the bad in life and break stereotypes. The show attempts to show the audience many things, like how important it is to seek help if you need it, how footballers are still human and have emotions like anyone else, how revenge does more to harm you than to the other person, how you should be yourself, the importance of friendship. I could keep going. I think all these really add up to make people love the show, as it breaks stereotypes and shows people how vulnerable others can be. Number 3, the football. Now, despite all these hidden messages and character progression, at the end of the day, it's about football or soccer. Even if the only reason you continue watching is due to the other aspects, the sports element is likely what hooked you or intrigued you at least. A comedy show about a sports team in the most popular football league on earth? Why not? This show wouldn't work nearly as well if it was in a convenience store or an office setting. It is also the first hugely popular sports comedy show, which is shocking they haven't made one like this already. I think a big reason this works best in a football club is the fact that a lot of the messages we talked about earlier don't work in other scenarios. Lots of times in sports, we don't think about the fact that players are still human. We just play fantasy sports with them, or FIFA or something like that. And when a player transfers teams, our first thoughts are it's a cash grab, or the team shouldn't have sold a player, when in reality it can be reasons with team arguments or something more personal. After a single game, they can go from being our favorite players to our least favorite players, just based on a single mistake. When our favorite team loses, we often think, is it really that hard? Well, I feel like Ted Lasso recognizes these problems and makes them more evident to the world, which could have not done in a different setting. Instead of brushing over, it embraces it and makes it into the show we know and love. Number 4, the writers. I feel a huge part of shows that tends to get overlooked are the writers. Although this happens less in comedy, it still becomes a massive problem. The writers are what shapes the show. They dictate the pace, they write the jokes, they make you root for the characters you're watching, and it's especially hard with this ensemble. Although you have likable characters like Ted and Keely, you have self-centered, explicit, disrespectful characters in the show in particular. Others have casts filled with only likable personas, such as Good Place, or Modern Family. There are no particular bullies or dislikable leads, which is where I especially appreciate the writers here. Although I must say this writing staff is filled with loads of talent, including Bill Lawrence, who helped write Scrubs, Bad Monkey, and Shrinking, Jason Sudeikis, who wrote dozens of SNL skits, Brendan Hunt, who wrote for Key and Peele, and Jane Becker, who assisted on The Simpsons and Rick and Morty. The point is, they're all very skillful. It is very clear that the writers understand the characters they have made. They know what is rational for the people, and they are great at conveying that. I also noticed they captured the best traits of the actors and used them to their advantage. For example, Hannah Waddington, actor Rebecca, was in Spamalot, Wizard of Oz, Into the Woods, all in the West End, so they used her singing in the karaoke part of an episode. So, now you know the 4 major reasons I believe Ted Lasso is such a success. If you enjoyed that, check out this video, because apparently YouTube really thinks you like it.